practice, you may want to strap for tighter shoulders. A strap or a towel that you could hold between your hands, or what else is good? A belt, a tie, something so that we can open our shoulders. Doesn't have to be very long. We're not going to do big, long shoulder opening. But something that you can hold maybe like at most 2 feet between the hands. So when we lean forward, we can open up the shoulders. All right, let's begin in a seat. You might sit on a block, a bolster, if lifting the hips is useful. You can cross at the shins, or you might tuck the heels underneath the tush. Wherever you are, the eyes gently close, the hands land on the body. And beginning to notice the breath, and in noticing deepening, lengthening. Feeling the belly expand first and then the chest on the inhale. Feeling the chest depress and then the belly pull back on the exhale. Breathe in a third of the way on the inhale and pause. Breathe in another third. Breathe in all the way up to the top of the collarbone and hold. Breathe all of the breath out, smooth and controlled. Breathe in a third, another third. Full breath. And slowly out. Once more. Third of the breath into the belly. Third up to mid-body. All the way up to the collarbones. Holding gently, slowly breathe the breath out. Breathe naturally in and out through the nose. Feeling the ribs expand, feeling the shoulders soften. Gently blink the eyes open, soft gaze. Sweep the arms up. Exhale, right hand down, left arm up and over. Stretch the side body. You might tuck chin towards armpit. Press the left sit bone down. Inhale through center. Exhale, both arms down. Roll the shoulders up and down the back. If you are sitting cross-legged, switch the cross. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, left arm down, right arm up and over. Chin can tuck towards the right armpit. Pressing the right sit bone down, stretching the right ribs towards the armpit. Inhale, center. Exhale, release the arms, roll the shoulders. Tip chin towards chest. Rock the head from side to side, like a marble in a bowl. And then take a full rotation clockwise. 2-3 times. Pause at center after the third. And And then again, rocking from side to side. And take it 3 rotations counterclockwise. Notice if the ribs and shoulders are moving a lot in this rotation. See if you can isolate it to the head and neck. Pause with head down center. Feel the stacking from the sit bones rooting up through the spine and slowly lifting the head so the crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Come on to hands and knees. Step the right foot outside the right hand. Walk the left knee back. Hands can be on a block here. Opening into the psoas. Head can hang. We're training the breath here at the beginning so that it can continue to show up for us throughout the practice. Maybe a little flossing from side to side, wiggling the hips. When we get into a pose, always give yourself permission to explore it, to see what happens if I shift my weight, if I engage different muscles. Walk the right hand outside the right foot. Pull the hips back. Rebend the knee. And straighten the leg. Keep moving with this forward and back motion. The toes might float up from the earth. Hands could be on blocks here. The next time the hips pull back, hold. You could be on fingertips or blocks here. Maybe support from any furniture that's close by. As you're folding from the hips here, inviting the pelvis to tilt. Getting the tailbone to point towards the back of the mat as you reach the sternum forward. And the hips are equidistant from the front of the mat. Might need the left hip to hug in. Rotate the toes towards the right, towards the left, towards the right, to the left, to the right, and hold and breathe. Keep pulling the right hip back. Is there any clenching in the body? Bring the toes back through center. Bring the sole of the right foot onto the earth. Left hand is inside the right foot, right hand onto the knee. Begin to twist the chest. Notice if the right hip swings out as you twist the chest. Hug the right hip in. Maybe the right arm floats up. If the right arm has floated up, flip the palm to face the wall behind you. And then bend the elbow, take the back of the hand to the low back. It's a little half bind here. And then inhale, reach the arm up. Exhale, float it to the earth. Walk the right knee back with the left knee. Knees, hips distance, underneath the hips. Hands underneath the shoulders. Heart lifts, cow pose. Round the spine, cat. Inhale, heart tips up, cow. Exhale, round cat. Tabletop. Step the left foot outside of the left hand. Walk the right knee back, any amount. Let the hips sink, let the psoas soften. you're ready, you can take it to the exploration, shifting weight. You might see what it's like to stretch more through the right side body, dipping the hip. You might rotate the shoulders some. Pausing through center, walk the left hand outside the left foot. Pull the hips back, you can be on blocks again. And then bend the knee. Rebend, come into this low lunge. Keep flossing forward and back. It doesn't have to get to the fullest expression of the pose. We're just warming up the muscles. Giving them the attention and time to get into their own stretch in their own time. When the hips pull back, the next time stay here. You can walk the hands back. You could wiggle the hips a little bit, see how that feels. You might round and lengthen the spine. And then when you're ready, you'll find your position and hold it and breathe, allowing the breath to be what opens the body. Left hip over left knee. I'm sorry, right hip over left knee. Right hip over right knee. Toes stay flexed towards the face. Rotate the toes over towards the left and over towards the right, keeping that flex in the foot. Back and forth a couple of times. And then hold with them tilted over to the left. Keep hugging the right hip over the right knee. Keep reaching the sternum forward. Toes back through center, left sole of the foot to the earth, hands on the earth, step the left knee back. Walk the knees underneath the hips. Sway the hips from side to side. Maybe take some circles with the hips, shoulders, ribs. Let it get weird. Doesn't have to be symmetric, doesn't have to look any which way. It can be slow, it can be fast. Tabletop. Step the right foot back, press through the heel. A little pulsing, stretching the calf. Pause, press into the left shin, float the right leg. Bend the knee, sole of the foot to the sky. Keep rolling the outer right hip towards the earth so we're not rotating the hip open. Belly to spine, pulse the heel towards the sky. You should feel this in your glute. Keep hugging the left hip in. And keep a slight engagement of low belly. Pause with heel pressing to sky. Open the knee out to the side, scoop it down without landing, press the heel back up towards the sky. Making big circles. Knee out to the side, scoop it towards the earth, up and back with the heel. Keep moving. 3 more. After the third one, pause. Go in the opposite direction, knees together. Right knee out to the side, back through center, sole of the foot to sky. Keep making these circles. 3 more. After the third one, lower the knee to the earth. Heart lifts, inhale. Round the spine, exhale. Tabletop. Step the left foot back. Pulse the heel. Pause. Press the right shin to the earth. Engage the belly up and in. Float the left leg to the height of the hip. Bend the knee, sole of the foot to sky. Start the pulsing of heel towards the sky, keeping the left hip rolled to the earth. Pause with heel to sky. Open the knee out to the side. Swoop it down towards the right knee. Press the heel to the sky. Out to the side. Down and up. 3 more. Keep hugging the right hip in too. After that third round, pause with heel to sky. Reverse the direction. Knees together. Left knee to the side. Sole of foot to sky. Keep going. 5 total. Keep hugging, engaging the outer right hip and the belly. Once you land for the last round, pause. Lower the knee to the earth. Step the right foot out to the side. The right foot lines up, the toes line up with the left knee. The leg is straight. And then bend into the knee and stir around the hip. Move in both directions. And then pause, bring the knee back down to the earth. Step the left leg out to the side. Bend into it, stir around yourself. Move in both directions. Pause. Knees back to the earth. Heart lifts, inhale. Exhale, round the spine, big toes touch, child's pose. Stretch the arms long. Forehead to the earth or to a block. Feel the weight at the third eye center. Slowly press yourself up, hands and knees. Walk the arms forward, forearms to the earth, puppy dog, hips stay over knees. Forehead to a block or the floor. Come back up, bring the strap with you towards your heels. Lower back towards your heels with knees wide. Take the strap in between your hands. Come into child's pose. Actually, roll back up, bring the knees together. Come into a closed child's pose. Keep the hands reaching towards the wall behind you. We're going to roll to the top of the head. Before we do that, I want you to make sure that the shoulders keep pulling away from the ears so that we're nice and engaged in the upper back, so not a ton of weight to the crown of the head. We rock forward to the crown of the head, has some gentle pressure, and then the knuckles reach up and over. But the shoulders keep pulling away from the ears. Sink the hips back, roll the head back through onto the floor so the forehead presses onto the floor. You can put the strap to the side at the back of the mat. Pause here. And then we'll roll up from seat pose into hands and knees all the way towards downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a look at your hands. Index fingers are parallel. Press down into thumb and index, the fleshy part in between. Have a soft bend in the elbows as they scoop, and then the head can hang between the arms. Bend the right knee deeply, press the left heel towards the earth. Switch. 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 Come high onto both toes. Swivel the heels to the right. Lift the right hip up and back. Keep the chair keep the chest square to the earth. Come back through center and over to the second side. Heels swivel to the left. Chest stays square towards the earth. Come back through center. Inhale, float forward, undulating the spine to plank pose. Now, we'll all come forward onto the toes, like you're peeking over the edge of the mat, and then lower the knees, but keep the belly up and in. So the shoulders are beyond the wrists here. You could float the toes off the mat for a little extra engagement in the core. And then slowly lower, just halfway. So elbows and shoulders are in the same line. Press back up. That is hard. You can lower the feet down. Sit back on your heels for a moment. It's hard. Chaturanga is a really hard pose, and it takes a lot of training of the muscles in our upper arms, which I can tell you I don't have very big upper arm muscles, but they are well trained from 17 years of yoga. And so I'm going to show you what the alignment for chaturanga looks like. If you have a block, you can use the block for some assistance so that we know that we're not dipping too far forward. I think oftentimes what happens, here's a look at what it looks like to do it maybe incorrectly or not the safest way. We drop the chest so low, and that's not great for our shoulders, it's not great for the upper back, and it means that we're just not engaging through the core enough usually. So, taking the block, if you have one, on the highest height, we start in full plank, and then we come forward onto the toes. Then we can lower the knees, and then lower just so. So if my shoulder touches the block, I know I've gone too far, and then we can press back up. If you're in full chaturanga, you come from full plank, over onto the toes, tippy toes, and then halfway. Whoo, press back up. And then hips up and back, down dog. Let's all meet in downward facing dog. Yes, we're building strength, and yes, we are taking our bodies into stressful poses. We practice the stress here on our mats so that we can also practice keeping the central nervous system out of stress response, out of fight or flight, into the parasympathetic. Inhale, plank. As you exhale, come forward onto the toes, either lower the knees or come down halfway. Press back up, down dog. So either modified chaturanga or full. Maybe you try one way, maybe you try both ways. Inhale, float forward, plank. Once more, forward, knees can lower, halfway lower, press back up, hips up and back. Walk hands to feet. You know, those chaturangas, they require a strong shoulder girdle, which is also why we are stretching our shoulders today. Soft bend in the knees, maybe a deep bend. Make connection with torso to thighs. Shift the weight front to back of the foot so it's nice and even. Feel the inner arches lift, outer ankles hug. As you figure that out in the feet, you can feel the outer hips hug in. Take the strap to the small of the back, both hands hold Maybe about a foot in between, maybe more. Draw the knuckles towards the sky, shoulders away from ears, and maybe the arms can float any amount. Release the jaw, release the crown of the head to the earth. Arms and hands come back to the small of the back. Hands drip down the legs, put the strap aside, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold in. Push the strap towards the middle of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet, sweep the arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Pause, eyes closed. Feel the balance shift when the eyes close. Float the arms up, inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale through chaturanga or modified. Lower all the way to the earth after that slight pause. Untuck the toes, hands are beside the chest, elbows hug in. Inhale, undulate the heart up. Exhale, lower it back down. Tops of the feet seal, pelvis presses. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, step it through to the hands. And walk it out towards the right. Feet are hips distance. Stay high on the back toes. Bend into the front knee. Grab the strap, drape it across the right thigh. Belly to spine. Outer hips hug, float the arms back, crown of the head forward. Keep hugging the right hip in, rooting into the right heel. Slight bend in the back knee, upright the torso. Crescent warrior. Hands to hips. Grab the strap with the right hand, straighten into the right leg, soft bend in the knee. Swivel the back heel down on a sharp angle. Pull the right hip back, roll the left hip forward. Strap at the small of the back between the hands. Knuckles draw towards the earth. If you're not using a strap, you can have fingers interlaced each time I say strap. Okay, just depends on the openness of the chest and shoulders. Keep pulling that right hip back, gently rolling left hip forward, inner arch of left foot lifts. Draw knuckles towards the earth as you bend into the front knee. Root down into the left heel. Pull the front ribs to the back body. Here is our modification of Warrior One today. The gaze might go up. Trusting the alignment of the body. And then keep reaching the heart forward. Keep reaching the knuckles back. Tip in halfway. Like the spine is a long line all the way from the left heel to crown of the head. This could be plenty. And this is certainly a strong, strengthening pose. Outer hips hugging. Belly up and in. If you're feeling explorative, you might dip in a little lower. Bending from the hips. The knuckles can reach up and overhead. So there are stages to this. This is Humble Warrior. The head can hang if you fold it all the way in. Keep hugging the right hip back. So whatever stage you're at, you might be in Warrior One with knuckles reaching to the floor still. That is totally fine, but you are breathing and you are soothing your body in the stress of the pose. Press into the feet, engage the core, lift up. You can drop the strap once you reach the top of the pose, float the arms. Give them a cactus out. Feel the heart spread wide. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the earth. Come on to the back toes. Shift the weight to the right foot. Lift the left leg, hands walk forward, standing splits. Lower the left foot to meet the right. Bend in the knees, forward fold, head is heavy. Sway side to side or bob up and down. You're exploring your body. You could flutter the lips or heavy sighs at any time. It's your practice. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold in. Plant into the feet, sweep the arms up and overhead. And draw the hands to the heart. Feet evenly stand. Find the weight shifting forward and back, side to side a bit. Lift the toes, spread them wide, lower them down. Lift the inner arches, the outer ankles. Soft bend to the knees, tailbone to the earth. Frontal hips lift, outer hips hug. Front ribs hug in. Collarbone is wide. Float the arms up and overhead. Lead with the heart as you fold over the legs. Inhale, lift halfway. As you exhale, plant the hands, step back into plank. Come forward and down, maybe through modified or full chaturanga. Lift for your back bend, cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, round the spine. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, step the foot through to the hands. Grab the strap, drape it on the left thigh. Notice, I can tell already in my body, my left hip wants to swing out to the right. It makes the pose easier. But we want to build that strength in the outer hip. So before I come up, I hug my left hip in. Yes, it's harder, but I know I'm getting stronger. Back leg is so strong. Belly pulls up and in. I stay high on my back toes. I begin to float my arms back just for a moment here. Strong outer hips, strong core, strong torso lifting through the crown of the head. And then slight bend in the back knee as I upright into crescent warrior. Maybe the back leg moves towards straight if there's space in the psoas and quadricep. Keep the lift of the frontal hip points. Hands release down to the hips. Grab the strap with the left hand, straighten into the left leg. Swivel the back, heel down. Maybe it's heel to heel alignment. More than likely, it's a little wider than heel to heel. Mine is by maybe 4 inches. It helps to square my hips more. I've got wider hips than if I lined them up heel to heel. Most of us do. Roll the right hip forward. Pull the left hip back. Lift both hip points up. Hands with strap or interlaced at the small of the back. Draw the knuckles towards the earth. As you lift the heart, pull the ribs back. Bend into the front knee. Notice if that left hip is swinging out, hug it in. Lift the inner arch of the right foot. The breath is smooth in, smooth and controlled out. There's sometimes a tendency to just let the breath fall out and rush in. Get control with it. Begin to lay forward. Keep lifting the frontal hip points. Long line of energy, crown of the head to right heel and back again. Inner right thigh rolls back. Maybe this is where you land, maybe this is where you stay and breathe. You might come back up to Vira 1. Or maybe you explore. This is how my body feels in this shape. Maybe I can fold in, keep hugging the left hip. Maybe the knuckles come up and overhead. And hey, if you fall out, that's okay. You can fall back in. It's all good. We're just playing. Notice where the weight is in the feet. Are you pressing firmly enough in the back foot? Pressing into the front heel. Begin to bring the hands back towards the small of the back as you lift the heart up. Put the strap aside, float the arms up. Warrior one. Cactus the elbows out. Arms float up. Hands to the earth. Come onto the back toe. Step forward into a standing splits. Lower the right foot to the left. Little sway side to side, bend one knee at a time. Lifting the hip, the opposite hip. Little wiggle. Maybe making a figure eight, an infinity symbol with the hips. Head can hang. And then pause. Lift halfway. Fold and plant into the feet. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Hands to heart. Arms float up. Lead with the heart, fold in. Soft bend in the knees. Heart lifts in. Exhale, fold in. Step the left foot back. Swivel the heel to the earth. Press into the front heel. Come up, warrior two. This should feel real nice. We've done so many closed hips. That's not what it's called. Neutral hips. This external rotation should feel good. And then let's straighten into that front leg. You can have a block to the outside of the foot. You can have the strap with you over a shoulder. We're just exploring. Soft bend in the front knee. You can lift the toes to make sure that there is a soft bend there. Spread them wide, lower them down. We're cutting this hip back as we reach forward. Hand to shin or block. Start with the top arm towards the sky. Trikonasana, triangle pose. And then flip the palm to the wall behind you. Bend the elbow hand to the small of the back. This could be plenty. Maybe you take a half bind here. By holding the inside of the right thigh with the left fingers. You're going to, if you have the block, you're going to walk it to the inside of the foot and bend to 90 in the front knee. Now we're in half bound Parsvottanasana. That outer right hip, keep cutting it back and down. And if you have the half bind, you might explore taking the full bind with the strap. The strap will come into the left hand. The right elbow is inside the right knee, and then the hands can hold the strap. Maybe you even just explore it and see, am I even close? Maybe. If you do have the bind, you could straighten the front leg. Bound triangle. Not necessary. Wherever we are, we'll lose the strap. We'll come up, warrior two, and wash it away, hands to the earth. Step back, vinyasa, or straight to dog. So many options. Without lifting the leg, step the left foot through to the hand, swivel the back heel down, set your block up. If you know that you use it, take the strap with you. You can drape it over your right shoulder. Warrior two. Let it come into the body. Let your body find it. You can roll out the shoulders, the neck. It's an exploration. How's the breath? Begin to straighten into that front leg. I like to move my back foot in ever so slightly. Hands can be to hips. Lift the front toes, spread them wide, lower them down, keep a soft bend in the front knee. Cut that left hip back as you reach the left fingertips forward. Hand to block or shin. Maybe your hand makes it to the earth. Mine never really does. Top arm overhead. Trikonasana. Keep pulling that left hip back and in so that it swings underneath the body for support, and press into the right foot. Belly hugs. Flip the right palm behind to the wall behind you and swing the hand to the small of the back. This is half bound triangle. Maybe the hand can touch the thigh. As you roll the chest more, left ribs roll to the right. And then walk the block to the inside of the foot, bend into the front knee. If you're not using a block, you might just have elbow on knee here, left elbow on left knee. Keep hugging the hip back, 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 back. And then if you choose to have the strap, you have the opportunity for that bound Konasana, Parshva Konasana. Another breath or two. Maybe you straighten the front leg just for playtime. And then lose the strap, come into warrior two. It's done. Cartwheel the hands to the earth. Step back. Final vinyasa if you'd like it. How has it changed through the practice? Down dog. Shoulders away from ears. Hips up and back. Bend the knees, bend them, deeper, 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 deeper. They land. Big toes touch, child's pose. Forehead to the earth, sway the hips from side to side. You might bring the palms together to touch and then bend the elbows towards the back of the head or the neck. Acknowledging yourself in this moment in your practice. Soothing your central nervous system with the breath. Release it. Come up. Crawl yourself up through seated. And bring the legs forward in front of you. You can be up on a block or bolster, or sit bones on the earth. Move the flesh out from underneath them as the soles of the feet come together. I'll face you. Baddha Konasana, bound angle. You could have the heels close to the groin or further away, making more of a diamond shape, whatever feels good in the body. And start by just shifting the weight. Hands could be beside the hips with the shoulders rolling back, heart lifted. Or maybe hold the ankles or feet. And you might pull yourself in. Elbows could rest inside the thighs. Whatever shape your body makes, that's the one to explore. I know from my own practice and the struggle of my own practice, the looking around, the comparison, certainly harder when we're, in a public class with our mats next to someone and, oh, what's that person doing? Well, they're not my body. And what their body is doing is what's important for their body to do, and it probably wouldn't be useful for me. So just to encourage you to let the breath be the exploration of this shape that your body makes. Maybe you're inspired to find some movement. Maybe you're inspired to walk the hands in one direction or the other. There is no wrong way to do it. As long as you're avoiding injury and listening to the messaging of the body, you won't steer yourself wrong. Slowly, if you did fold in, roll up. Take the legs wide. Flex the feet. I like to have my heels on my mat because it feels tender on the back of my heels when they're just on the hardwood. Lift the heart. This could be plenty right here. Trying to get the spine nice and long. You could also be up on a block or a bolster here. Keeping the legs engaged by flexing the toes back, all 10 toes pointing towards the sky. You might fold in any amount. Lifting back up through center. Bring both legs forward. Dandasana. Knees can be bent here. In fact, bend your knees pretty deeply. And then lay the chest towards the knees. Walk the sit bones back. So the knees might be bent even more deeply than you see here. But try to keep that connection. Make that connection the most important thing. You can even have the strap around the feet here. And then you could walk the heels forward any amount as it opens, keeping the spine long. And pause wherever you need to pause. And then move on if you feel the need to move on. Another breath or two in this exploration. The belly gets big on the inhales. And then let the head hang as you roll up, walking the hands up the legs. One last little bit of challenge. Flex the feet, engage the core, reach the arms forward. You can use the hands for assistance, certainly, avoid injury, but maybe you can explore what it is like to lower down one vertebrae at a time, letting the head land very much at the end. And then the hands land. Bend the knees, soles of the feet to the earth. Walk the feet wide, knock the knees from side to side. Hug the knees in. Scoot the hips to the left and let the knees come to the right. The knees don't have to stack. You could gaze out over towards the left, maybe if that feels okay on the neck. If not, head through center is fine, or even turn to the right. Can you take a deep breath into the belly and sigh it out the mouth, inviting the whole body to soften? back through center. Scoot the hips to the right. Bring the knees up and over to the left. Work to keep the chest to point towards the sky. If the knees don't land even all the way to the earth, that's fine. You could put a pillow under them. Breathe deep into the belly. And sigh it out. Where can you soften? Each moment is a new opportunity to explore this pose a bit more. To calm the nervous system. Come back through center. Hug the knees in. And give a gentle rocking from side to side as you press the tailbone to the earth. Any last poses, happy baby, or legs up towards the sky. Another breath or two. And then as you're ready, you'll find your way into a comfortable position, laying down on the earth. Or you could come to seated if you prefer for Shavasana. Take a long, slow breath in. And a long, slow breath out. Releasing any breath control. Letting the body land. The eyes are heavy. The breath moves naturally in and out. You're present here in your breath, in your body. But also you're surrendering to this moment. Each exhale, you surrender the body a bit more. Letting it grow heavy to the earth. Giving it up into Shavasana, corpse. back to the long inhales, long exhales. Coming back to the body. You could gently rock the head from side to side. You might point and flex the feet, wiggle the fingers, roll the ankles, roll the wrists. Sweep the arms up and back. Feel how the body feels from this whole practice, from the movement, from the strengthening. Gather the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug of appreciation for showing up to your practice. And then make your way into a seat, however you find your way there. When you find yourself in your seat, with sit bones rooted towards the earth and crown of the head reaching towards the sky, connected to that part of you that exists beyond all of this other stuff. The lists, the labels. Palms come together at the heart center. The heart lifts, the head bows, and we commit to taking the awareness and the knowledge and the wisdom of that piece of us that exists beyond all of the other gunk. Shanti, peace.